Hello and welcome back to the Little Scale Cars YouTube channel. Today in the review box we have the Pagani Zonda Cinque from Tarmac Works in this nice orange and black color. So let's take a closer look and see if this is worth adding to your collection. So let's get started with the casting. So this is not a new casting, but it is the first time I reviewed it. We've had this one in yellow, which was a limited release. We had it in carbon, which was limited release, and then the green one, which was a normal release. And now we finally have this orange one, which proportionally speaking looks really good. We have great proportions, definitely 1/64th scale, nothing off or distracting about it. Looking into our casted bits up front, we do have our headlights. These are not plastic inserts. They are actually seeming to be casted in and then painted on. Some of our plastic pieces, we do have plastic mirrors here. We have these little intakes in the back are plastic. And then the wing is obviously plastic as well. As far as I can tell, the hood scoop here, the roof scoop, is metal. It's cold to the touch, so I'm assuming that it is metal. Our skirt down here is all metal, our diffuser is metal, our base is metal. All of that is great. These little vents here have casted details. There's texturing there, which looks amazing. This is a piece where we can remove. So with just a little effort, you can take that. We'll take a closer look at those details in a minute, but there's not really a whole lot of casted action going on inside there. Most of what's going on in there is just plastic detailing, which we will look at closer, but the panel snaps on just like that, simple and easy. For our paint and deco. So I think this is representing Zonda 3 of 5 for these Cinques. I'm not positive on which one is the real life orange one, but I think it's 3. Doesn't really matter. But we have this really cool orange and black deco. Personally, this is my favorite deco that this car ever got in real life, because if you've watched any of my Zonda F reviews, you'll know that orange Zondas are my favorite Zondas. And, well, orange cars are usually my favorite color for a car in general. Not always, but in most cases. So, obviously, I'm a huge fan of the deco. What we have here is we have our base paint is just this orange, nice and simple. We then have this black striping kind of over top of the initial orange, and then in addition to that we have this center stripe is on top of the black. So if you look really up close on this center stripe, you can actually see it's a little faded in certain spots. So I would recommend not touching this section as much, because you could potentially rub it off over time. For our detailing department, we've got a lot to look at. So first off, we mentioned that the headlights here were casted in, so there's no plastic insert like we got on like the Mini GT versions. So they don't look as nice without those plastic inserts, in my opinion. They kind of look just like silver dots, which I guess there's really not a whole lot more they can do, but not as nice as the Mini GT version. But we do have meshing in here in these grill bits. We have our painted silver for whatever these are, some sort of light or something down there. We do have our little canards casted on. I think they're casted in, but they could be a plastic piece that's been put on top. Down the sides here, we have our silver bit here painted on there. We have our little Arancio Pagani signature there. Up top, we've got a little Zonda Cinque action on the engine cover. Inside, or we have our windshield wiper here. Inside, we have lots of detailing going on there. Making our way to the back is where we'll find our taillights all up and good. We are Zonda Cinque right there. Meshing here, looking fantastic. And we have our exhaust, actually has the silver lining around it, which looks really nice. Going under the hood, so to speak, we will see, as far as our engine detailing goes, we don't have a crud ton, but it's decent enough. We've got kind of these bars going over it. The actual engine itself is just kind of one singular color. No variety there, I guess. We do have this piece here is blacked out, And then we've got this piece back here leading to the exhaust is the kind of got some blue coloration to it, which I think looks cool. So there's not a ton of detail in there, but for a global 64 release, I mean, there's plenty. I feel like it looks good. Putting the engine cover back on, we'll just take a quick look at the wheels. So these wheels obviously match the real-life Zonda Cinque's wheels. And we've got this really, really cool orange outline with the little silver lug nut, I guess, kind of dealio going on in there. And not a big thing to note, but I just think they look really good. We got the tire tread patterns as well. Just a small little thing that I think is really nice looking. As mentioned, this is a Tarmac Works Global 64. So it does roll. It doesn't roll super smoothly, but it does roll, and it rolls pretty nicely. For our pros and cons, getting started with our pros, a big one that I think is the car itself. There's not a whole lot of Zonda Cinques in 1/64. I think this might be the only Zonda Cinque coupe, actually. And this is definitely the first casting that's gotten multiple deco treatments of the Zonda Cinque, so that's great. And then our other big pro is our detailing. Came out amazing. The removable engine cover works nicely, so you get even more details than you necessarily even need, because if you're like me, you never display it with the engine cover off anyway. But yeah, really good detailing. For our cons department, I mentioned it briefly earlier, but I'm not a huge fan of the way they did the headlights here. Kind of casted it in and then painted it on. It just comes out looking a little bit cheaper than, say, a Mini GT does, which is interesting because this model was about $16, whereas the Mini GTs Zonda Fs are actually about $12. So they're cheaper and they look nicer. I don't hate the way they did it. It still looks good. It's perfectly serviceable, but in comparison to other brands, it does look a little bit cheap. The other con is the casting seam for the removable engine cover. It's not anything like huge. It's honestly just a nitpick, but you can see it is a little bit odd in certain spots, kind of those extra little gapping pieces, I'm assuming to make it easier to remove. Not anything incredibly horrible, but just something to make note of. For some size comparisons, here we have it with the Mini GT Zonda F that we've mentioned, and the Hot Wheels Zonda R. And here we have it next to a few other supercars, with the Kyosho McLaren 12C and the Hot Wheels Koenigsegg Agera R. So with that wrapped up, it is time to give my final thoughts. Overall, I'm going to give this one a 9.8 out of 10. So I absolutely love the casting. I absolutely love the deco. This is my favorite spec of any Zonda ever. So I've been asking for a Mini GT Zonda F in orange. Well, this is the Zonda Cinque, which I like more than the Zonda F, in orange with the black detailing. It looks fantastic. I love it. So this was obviously a very hype release for me. I think it came out really, really nice. I do have a few little nitpicks, like I mentioned with the casting seam where the removable engine cover is, and then the headlights. Not massive deals, they are just nitpicks. They don't really distract from anything. So overall, I think this is one you should definitely pick up. If you haven't, you're definitely missing out. Find it while you can, basically, because this one is one that you should not miss out on. And that's all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and comment down below telling me what your thoughts are on this particular model. And I will see you in the next video.